on earth.
We have been traveling for nearly 4 months, making our way to the COP22. We're collecting stories of people on the front line of climate change and the injustices that come with the warming planet. Now we are here to speak and sing about our heroes and the action they take every day for basic rights.
Our first story comes from our home and highlights the largest human-made environmental catastrophe we have ever faced. The deforestation and burning of Indonesia's rainforests and peat-rich carbon sinks for the production of commodities like conflict palm oil are not only rapidly accelerating climate change and causing mass extinction, but they are also creating unlivable and extremely dangerous environment for the local people. This story comes from our home, comes from our friend, Shinta, a brave young woman from Kalimantan, Indonesia. We're in the midst of the heaviest haze of 2015, where breathing one day was equivalent to smoking 46 cigarettes a day. She managed to mobilize and lead her people as they marched to the gates of their politicians to demand action and fight for their basic rights. This is her story.
We are fighting daily now for things I can't believe we need. Air that does not make us sick and water free of poisoning. We are standing at your gate. It seems we are 1,000 strong and rising. We are rising.
We are here to speak to you, sir, because as we understand, you just signed another contract selling off our sacred land.
We're at your gates together here and we will not be moved
Until you come out, sir!
How could you? We can't breathe. We can't breathe. We just want to hear your vision. I'm sure you have a master plan. Do you not have children, sir?
How do you make them understand?
Perhaps you'll let us all inside to breathe your fancy air. I think we are 2,000 strong. Looks like there's plenty room in there. We can't breathe. We can't breathe.
Our next story is an all too common one, and unfortunately exists in every community and environment. We are being strangled by single-use plastic packaging and our lack of infrastructure and foresight to sustainably process our waste. We now know there will be more plastic than fish in the oceans by 2050 if we can't come up with the solutions now. Our next story is from the voices of ocean creatures. Where did you come from? You don't belong here. I've seen you wrapping up tentacles around the necks of
fantasies.
Hey, you there? Where did you come from? You don't belong here. I've seen the things you've done.
We then travelled to the island of Lesbos, off the mainland of Greece, where we spent time with the local community whose lives were changed drastically and suddenly last year amidst an already devastating economic crisis. On the opening day of the tourist season last April, the first boat of refugees arrived on the shore of our friend's hotel. And by the end of the season, there were 7 to 8 boats a day, and her business was full of NGOs and refugees instead of tourists. Each boat that came ashore was overflowing with men, women, and children fleeing war and destruction. They were filled with both hope and fear.
We were your children. We were the ones you left behind. Back when there were still choices. And you decided to be blind. We were so playful. We were so full of wonder. Never thought of the future. What kind of spell were we under? We have the right to be angry, but we haven't got the time. We're too busy trying to survive in the rubble you have left behind. So there will be more refugees fighting for space from the rising seas. We are young, but we want to know, will it be safe to have children of our own as the climate is changing, the fires are burning, the plastic is growing, but the world keeps on turning? Who's being honest here? Who's telling the truth? Who's thinking about the future? Who's thinking about the youth? All we're asking is that we stop and give more than we take, because this is all we've got. Plant a seed for a flower. Plant a seed for all your hopes and dreams. Plant a seed for tomorrow. We're going to rise out of this thing. We're going to rise out of this thing. We're going to rise out of this thing.
If you are connected to a corporation that sells products wrapped in single-use plastic packaging and then ships them off to developing nations where they do not have the infrastructure to deal with the waste,
then we're asking you to stop!
And instead, use your energy to create solutions that will benefit the communities and the environment.
If you are tied into the conflict palm oil industry in any way, and most of us are, then we're asking you to stop! And make sure that you're not contributing to deforestation, mass extinctions, and human rights violations.
For all of us everywhere struggling with the injustices of the refugee crisis,
we're asking you to start!
Finding ethical solutions now.
We need policies that we can rely on as the oceans rise and climate migrations become even more prevalent.
Stop laying pipelines. We need clean energy.
Stop destroying our soil and polluting our waters. Stop making short-sighted decisions and leaving a trail of destruction for us to deal with.
And start focusing on compassion and healing.
Plant a seed for a flower.
Sing with us.
Plant a seed for all your hopes and dreams. Plant a seed for tomorrow. We're going to rise out of this thing. 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 We're going to rise out of this thing.
We're going to rise out of this thing.
We're going to rise out of this thing. We're going to rise out of this thing. Destruction is just a metaphor for the status quo. It is the physical manifestation of humanity's reluctance to see the oneness in everything. We are the plastics. We are the trees. We are the fires and we are the seas. There is no more you or me, just us.